Hello, everybody, and welcome into Emily's Upcycled Home. Thanks for joining me today, where I do thrifted, upcycled, and rustic home decor pieces. And on today's video, we are going to be using DIY aviary for our crafts today. I hope you enjoy the video. I'm excited to get started, so let's go ahead and jump on in to project number 1. For this project, I am going to come in with this wood carved piece here and my aviary paint. Note that I did have to add water to loosen up the paint. And I'm down to my last bit here, so I'm hoping that it finishes these projects today. If you notice, I'm coming in here with a stippling motion and my paintbrush just to add in some extra texture to this piece. And I will go ahead and do that for the whole piece here. Now, if this piece looks familiar, it's because we've done something similar. And I'm going to go ahead and dry this piece with my heat gun, there you go. And then I will go ahead and do a second coat off camera. But like I was saying, if this piece looks familiar to you, it's because we've done a similar piece on another video, and here that piece is. I'll go ahead and link that in the description as well. So after this is thoroughly dry, I will come in with my 220 piece sandpaper, and I'm just going to distress this piece as much as I feel I need to for the look I am going for. And I am just using a 220 piece of sandpaper that you can find on Amazon. And once again, you guys, this is personal preference here. Distress as much as you want or as little as you want on your projects. So after I sand it, I'll go ahead and dust that off and seal it all up with DIY Big Top. Now I'm just coming in and layering up the Big Top, and you don't see me do this, but I do offload my brush just to get a lot of that pulling off of the piece here. And then I'll go ahead and let that thoroughly dry, making sure I hit that bottom as well so that paint seals in there too. And I am going to come in with some leftover Prima transfers I have here from the My Honey midi transfer I got off of Etsy a while ago. And these little scrap pieces that I have here, I'm going to layer up in the center here. And we're going with yellow and oranges and greens today. So we'll see how these projects come out with these color combinations and if you guys like the end results. So I'm going to continue on and add some dark wax here also by DIY. And now my wax here is kind of settling and separating, so I go ahead and give that a quick stir here just to mix that thoroughly up. My garage is a little hot, so it's kind of has this really soft, almost melted a little consistency, so it's gliding on pretty smoothly. Like always, come back in with my rag and remove all the excess. Now I'm sanding this piece here because that's where our wood square is going to go, and I got that square at Hobby Lobby. You can probably also get it on Amazon. I come in with that bead of E6000. I place that in the center, and I'll let this dry overnight. I came in with my brad nail gun and put 4 nails on the top here. And then we are going to come in with just my scissors here and add some little carves and grooves into this wood here. And lastly, come back in and add up our DIY dark wax to age up that wood. And no, I did drop this piece and the wood broke, so I had to redo the wood top here. The base was perfectly fine, but in the video you will see that the wood is different. You want to always wipe off all that excess, and then this piece is complete. And if you're liking my content so far, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any more DIY videos. Project number 2. I found this little piece in my stash. I'm trying to go through my stash, my paints and everything. And we are going to come in with the DIY aviary again. And this is already painted a blue color, but we are going to come in with this green color, and we are going to see if we have enough paint to finish this off. I just coat this up and layer it up, and then I seal the top, and then I realized that I sealed this top actually with Dixie Belle clear coat in a flat finish, but I really didn't need to paint the top at all. I could have saved my paint there because we are going to come in with these coasters that I get off of Amazon, and we are going to put a wood round to the top and make this a little cute mini riser. Come in with my E6000 to attach that wood round, clean up my edges here and put some weight on there, leaving that overnight to dry. After it's dry, I come in here and sand it a little bit because I got some green on the edge here. And I go ahead and smooth that out as best as to my ability. Now I did come in and spray sealer over here just so that the paint didn't reactivate and come off when I was waxing the piece. And then we're going to come in with the Thermal Melange IOD transfer that I found in my stash. I am going to make a little rim here around the transfer where I'm going to cut it. Cut my image to the size of the round. Place that on there, and you guys know the drill here. You rub on your transfer, pulling off your backing, and then rubbing your transfer in and giving that a smooth seal to your surface. Now I do come in and add more wax to this piece, adding the wax to the sides, adding the wax to the wood round, but then I decided to go ahead and seal it with that clear sealer instead. So I take some of that wax off, seal it, and then our pieces. Don't forget to give me a follow over on my Facebook business page, also on Whatnot as well. Moving on to project number 3. For this project, all I'm going to do is paint these thrifted little balls that I found and use them in a bowl somewhere with some filler. So we're just coming back in with that aviary paint and thoroughly coating this. I do have a second one, and I do that one off camera, but in the staging, you'll go ahead and see the finished results. But first, after I finish coating these pieces up with the aviary, they look like this. And then because I don't want to sit there and paint on my sealer, I'm just going to come back in with that same sealer spray. And you can use any sealer spray you want, you have on hand. Usually I use Rust-Oleum, so that's most likely what this is. And then this simple project is done. Project number 4. Now I have this just salvage wood piece. I don't really know what to do with it, but we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of an experiment here and just mess around and see what we come up with on this piece. Once again, coming back in with that DIY aviary, and we are going to give this 2 coats with this small amount here. Now, with that small amount of aviary right there, I've done all these projects, and this is the last piece, and I know these went out of order, but basically all these projects were done with that little bit of aviary that I added some water to. So I'm going to paint both sides of this piece and give it a second coat as well. Now, if you are interested in any of the DIY products, I'll have a link down in the description for you guys as well, where I get my products from DIY. So after the 2 coats, I come in with my 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to distress this piece up and come in with my DIY dark wax. Now, I don't know, you guys, how you're going to feel about this piece. It's coming in again, layering up the piece, trying to figure out what this piece wants to be, and it's not talking to me, and I kind of want to throw it in the trash, but my friend Andrea tells me no, just to keep going, and somebody might like it, because I'm debating whether I like it at all. But this is a Prima mold that I got from Upcycled by Bree that we're going to come in again, and it's with the resin casting, and I had this in my stash already made, and if you saw last week's video, we used that same mold on that little sign there, full of color. So I'm just going to play with this and see where I want to place this. And I decide I want to go ahead and just use the bird. So I come in and trim up the piece. And then I come in with my heat gun to kind of soften up the resin a little bit, make it more pliable so I could trim off a little bit more of that floral that I don't want on this piece. I repeat the process also for that second little bird, removing whatever remnants on there that I don't want. And then we're just going to play around here and add these birds to our piece with E6000. Now, usually you let this thoroughly dry overnight before you come in and start painting. I did not do that. I just kind of held it there for a little bit to make sure all the pieces held down. And then I went ahead very impatiently and started trying to figure out what this piece wants to be. And this was a long process, you guys, once again, just like my last video, and trying to figure out what these salvage pieces want to be. Remember, I'm going through my stash and trying to finish up projects and use up pieces so I can move on and start organizing again in my craft room. So I come back in with some wax and I layer that up on the bird, trying to get it to look how I want. I didn't have enough green paint to come in here and just cover this, so I have that water paint down, so I add that to the bird as well. And then I decide to come in with Fusion Victorian lace. Remember, I am experimenting here, so I hope you guys like these experiment pieces as well. They take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and they help you, reconnect with your art and reconnect with your processes that you create with. I come in with more DIY dark wax, layer that up in, and then I decide, what am I going to do now? So I just come in with some sandpaper and I distress this piece, trying to figure out my next step. So I come back in with that same remnants of that Prima transfer, and I'm just going to cut pieces out of here and just layer up all these scraps and pieces of this transfer. Now remember, the color scheme here is like oranges and yellows and greens, so we're going to keep with that color scheme here, using those same transfers throughout our video, and then we come back to this one, bringing it to our finale here. Now you just rub on these transfers just like any IOD transfer or any transfers that you have. Pull off that backing and then rub in that transfer for a proper hold to your piece. Now, I don't remember where I got this piece, and I don't know what it is, probably part of a chair or something like that. And most likely it's probably from my Whatnot sale when I was big on purchasing everything there that everybody had. But I'm going to go ahead and varnish that as well. And if you want to shop on Whatnot, I'll go ahead and have my affiliate link to Whatnot and my shows for you to go bookmark. So I decide, let me see what I can do with these birds. So I come in with a yellow, trying to match up those florals, and layer that in as well. And then I come in with some more yellow and layer up the second bird as well. Now I come and add in some other layers as well into this color here. And these paints that I am using are just acrylic paints that I got off Amazon. I bring in this green on this leaves. It's not quite the color I want, so I go ahead and get into my aviary jar that's left over, and I just simply rub my brush against the walls of the container there to add some more paint to my brush. It kind of reminds me of some vintage chalkware here, you guys, so maybe we're going in a vintage chalkware kind of direction. And I'm going to continue to layer up these birds until I like the look of them. And I come in with this orange yellow color once again, just from some simple acrylic craft paint that I bought off of any craft store basically. I'm going to layer up that orangey color, or orange yellow it was called, onto there. And then I'm going to stop here, you guys, for a minute and reprocess what I want to do, just darkening that eye and beak. So remember how I told you I dropped that riser we created and the top broke, so I had to redo it? here is that piece that broke, so I decided to come in here and make a little shelf for this piece, whatever this piece is going to be. And I think I'm going to make it a little tea towel holder and add that little shelf there as well. To tame down the brightness of the birds and make them look less like parrots to me, because that's what they look like, I'm going to come in with some DIY white wax, tone those birds down, and blend them more into the piece. You know, I find it at times it's good to experiment and get out of your wheelhouse a little bit to, you know, kind of unlock more of your creativity and your artsy kind of process here. So like always, you want to come in with your rag and wipe off all the excess of the white wax that we put on here. And then this little shelf that I told you we're going to be using, I'm going to come in and add that E6000 there and attach this. We are going to leave this overnight and then we'll come in and secure it with nails. So now that the glue is dry here, I'm going to come in on these little slats and add some nails with my bread nail gun. And seeing that this is just for light pieces, I think that that's enough support for this little shelf. Lastly, to finish off this piece, we are coming in with just a sawtooth hanger. I'm going to add that in the position I want, and then I just hammer it in, and this project is done. We have reached the end of our video, so let's check out those finished projects. Leave me a comment. Let me know which project was your favorite. I thank you all for watching today, and I will see you guys all on the next one. Bye, friends.